and the another one is a HDPE. Here it is considered as a low density polyethylene, and the another one is considered as a high density polyethylene, which is based on the compositions of polymers under the pressure and the temperature. And these two polymers are called as a homopolymers of ethylene. This is the basic homopolymers of ethylene. Now we can classify these two polymers into three structures of LDPE and HDPEs. So from this, the LDPE structure of polymers is considered as a linear polymer which has a branching structures. So when the polymer when combined with the branching to the other Cl groups, that is CH2, double bond CH2, Cl. This is the combination of the low density of polyethylene. Whenever it has a linear polymer with branching structures and it undergoes a polymerization of high pressure under the atmosphere of 1000 to 3000 atmosphere and in the temperature which ranges from 850 to 350 degrees Celsius and in the presence of benzyl peroxide as a catalyst. So this is the formation to form a polymer when the n number of repeating units, the n is called as a degree of polymerization, that is n equal to CH2 double bond CH2. This is the formula for ethylene. Polymerization of benzyl peroxide in the presence of polymerization to form a CH2 bond CH2. Under the polymerization reaction, the double bond breaks into a single bond structure and it forms a CH2 bond CH2. The whole number of repeating units of n and forms as a polyethylene. So this is the structure formation which goes the low density polyethylene. It is a linear polymer which has a linear structure with combined branching of Cl groups, and the another which has a high pressure which has a 1000 to 350 degree atmosphere and which controls the temperature ranges from 850 and in the presence of benzyl peroxide as a catalyst. That this formation of ethylene is a formula for CH2 double bond CH2 under the polymerization reaction to form a polyethylene. So this is the formation for LDPE, and another process we are going to see about this HDPE, that is a high density polyethylene. So in this it is a linear polymer. It is also called as a linear polymer structures. The linear polymer with branching structures. So here the HDPE has a no branching structure and it cannot branch with this other polymers. Only the HDPE will combine with this ethylene and ethylene group only. Likewise the same as the polymers. So and it has a low pressure using Ziegler-Natta catalyst. This is a process to form a catalytic reaction in the presence of CH2 double bond CH2 in the presence of ZNC Ziegler-Natta catalyst. Under the polymerization reaction, it forms the CH2 bond double bond breaks into the single bond and it forms a structure called as a polyethylene, that is a CH2 bond CH2, the whole number of repeating units of n. So this is the combined structure to form a high density polyethylene with no branching structures and it forms only a linear with no branchings. Only the CH2 group will attach only to CH2 groups and the other it forms a low pressure using Ziegler-Natta catalyst. So the properties which combines for this polyethylene is it has a low density polyethylene and high density polyethylene in which combines as a density, temperature and it forms a tensile strength and the flexibility. So the density which has a low density for 0.92 and the high density is 0.95 and which the temperature ranges from 107 to 120 degrees Celsius and the HDPE which has a temperature ranges from 130 to 178 degrees Celsius and the tensile strength which has 85 to 136 strengths, 104 to 318 degrees Celsius and the flexibility which has more capability for LDPE is more flexible and which has a more rigidity and flexible to form the polymers and the other HDPE which is a more rigidity to form the structures of polyethylene structures. And the uses of polyethylene is used in this food packing materials which contains products, etc. So these are the structural formation for polyethylene, which can be combined from the homopolymers of low density polyethylene and high density polyethylene, and it classifies into this high density and low HDPE and the properties and the uses. Thank you.